forum, we keep it pretty open. We don't have too many folks in here today, so if you do plan to speak, if we've already gotten everybody's name and address,
Just about.
if you have a name and address on record, you can speak freely, and Dalton will be kind enough to keep track of who's speaking for the matter of the record. But with that, always we'll start off. Are there any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, anything that you'd like to discuss first and foremost in the audience?
Did you want to screen break?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to know, there is a quorum here, right? So I'd like to know what's your reasoning for not having this publicly online, on camera, since you have a quorum here?
And so the folks that are in here can speak a little more freely. A lot of people said they don't like necessarily having open conversation and then having to be recorded online. So the folks that are in the audience, it's for you to be a little more free to speak as you please without the town putting you out there in the street.
Okay, but we do have Dalton here who actually is taking minutes, so isn't that on the minutes anyway?
Yes.
Okay, so there, it's already out there. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. Then I have a question for Ms. Whitley. You say that people can come to you and ask you questions and talk freely, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to know why in 2024, my husband contacted you and you wouldn't speak on the phone. You had Mr. McAllister call and ask why we were asking questions. Can you just explain that for us so we can better understand that, so we won't bother you when we have a question for you?
To be honest, I really don't remember that.
Okay, well, thank goodness I saved texts and I saved phone logs. You were at work on February 2nd of 2024. Do you not remember that?
No, maybe if I was at work, I may have been working.
Right, absolutely, and you
And I
said you were
don't
working
know.
to please call you after 5, and we did that, and you let it go to voicemail and had Mr. McAllister call us. Okay, not a problem, just wanted to understand that as well. And Mr. Scarborough, I'd like to ask you, I asked you to come to my store to talk to me one time, and you never came to talk to me. Were you told to stay out of my store or not come to my store? I'd like to understand that reasoning.
Well, no, one thing, I'm a grown man.
Yes.
So no one had to tell Joe what to do or not to do.
Right.
One thing was that, I have a lot of things to do in this world, and I didn't see anything like accomplishment, having a conversation with you about something. But if you want to see Joe, you request to come for my time, not me request to your time.
Oh, I didn't tell you to come on my time. I told you to, when you had time, to please come to my
But you
store.
told me to come to your place.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're not here working for the public. Is that what you're saying right now?
Yes, I am working for the public. The public recognition this time be the town hall or somewhere like the Jernigan building, not, antique treasure or whatever.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for telling me how you feel about the public and the people that pay the tax dollars.
That's good, that's good. I appreciate you asking me those questions.
Well, I appreciate you answering. Now, I have another question. Mr. McAllister, I'd like to know, you've pushed really hard on our police doing what's right in the town, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, and they should make sure to give citations to everyone they pull over, correct?
Make sure they should give citations to everyone they pull over? No, that's not correct, because there are all myriads of reasons to pull somebody over, so that can't be correct.
Okay, so you would never have said that. So they should have officer discretion, correct?
No, that's not necessarily where it is. For instance, if a police officer stops somebody and pull them over because their dress is hanging out the back of the car and they want to help them put that dress in the back of the car, there is quite frankly no citation to give.
Right, so that should be officer discretion, even when they pull over someone for, let's say, running a red light?
No.
No?
If someone does something illegal, they should get cited.
Okay. So what do you think about people that have an unregistered vehicle since 2025, and when the officer asked that person about getting it, that person tried to get that officer fired? What do you think about something like that?
You'll have to give me the specific example.
Well, let's see. I think there's a vehicle in your driveway that's been expired since last year.
What color is it?
So, It is an Infinity, one of your wonderful Infinities.
What color is the
It's something.
vehicle?
Don't worry about it. What does that mean?
So what I'm saying is you have no earthly idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I guess
I know that,
police officers
and
lie.
Let me finish. I know that is a fact because I remember pulling into a school one day and an officer coming out to the car and looking at my license plate and then kind of looking up and smiling, and he came by and he said, when did you get the registration changed? And I asked him, what do you mean? He said, I thought it was expired. That's what he told me, that he thought the registration on my car was expired. And I said, I'm not sure when it would have been on this car, but I have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, certainly there would be more important things to worry about this school than coming back and taking a look at my license plate. But again, for you to have this conversation and not even know what color car we're talking about.
That's right, I
I'm
didn't
still
see.
speaking. Please
I
don't
did not
interrupt.
see. I did not see the car, so,
Please don't interrupt.
nope, I
Sir.
will talk.
So let me explain to you how a meeting works and make sure everybody's clear. This is still a public meeting, and so as far as decorum, rules of order, and disruptions, if I tell you it's time for you to stop speaking, you do actually have to stop speaking.
Oh, you think
And
so?
if you do not want to stop speaking, you then have to leave the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying is it's very unwise for you to come in and attempt to record some type of gotcha moment without having half the facts yourself. Now, I encourage everybody to get all the facts, get every bit of information you can, and then come in and have an adult conversation. But when people come in with half-tell stories, or what they read on Facebook, or what they heard from Rick down the street and can't verify themselves, it's problematic for everybody. I'll give you a fantastic example. We see a lot of jawing back and forth about what is happening in our communities as far as growth right now. Benson is having a major conversation about the fire department. Smithfield is having a major
We don't care about other
conversation. I am
towns, we care
still
about
talking.
Selma. We
I
care
am-
about
I-
Selma.
Ms. Walker, you're going to need to leave this room.
Guess
Please
you'll have to
excuse
call the
yourself.
I guess you will have to call the police to have me escorted out, because it's a public forum where we can speak. So if you'd like to have me removed, that's perfectly fine.
Does anybody else have any questions for the council while we're here?
Who manages the town's money?
The CFO is directly responsible as far as keeping an eye on the town money, but manages the town money, so that's a broad question.
Wasn't there an accountant that is, just out of curiosity, isn't one of the accountants for the town a spouse of the town manager at this moment?
One of the accountants,
Or one of the people that watches over the finances of the town, a spouse to one of the town managers, am I wrong? Does
One
the town
of-
manager's wife oversee financials with dealing with this town?
you're asking a lot of questions here, so let me.
It's one question, does the
Wait, so
town's
I'm
manager?
gonna stop you as well. If I start speaking,
Okay,
you
I'm listening.
stop speaking so that I can respond to you. So, your question was first, who manages the town's finances? So first, we have a chief financial officer, but our town manager, interim town manager, is responsible for actually creating the budget. So the inception of that is the creation of the budget.
Correct?
Then beyond that, you have your financial staff who is responsible for the day-to-day of managing those finances. We do have our interim town manager's spouse in our accounts payable department?
Mhm.
Yes, but that's not them actually managing, that's them keeping track of certain
It's
aspects
not
of
a
our
conflict of
finances.
interest.
No, it's not.
No.
So people use the word conflict of interest a lot. There's actually a legal definition of conflict of interest that people forget completely exists, and then they just say this because they're not aware enough and understand these things, and they just use words because they feel like it makes sense. So people have mentioned that there's a conflict of interest because my wife is on town boards,
Ordinance committee.
not an ordinance committee.
So she doesn't sit on the committee that deals with the ordinance?
No, it's called the Board of Adjustment.
Right, but the ordinances deal with that, right?
The ordinances deal with the Board of
Is a
Adjustment.
part of that, like
The Board
it's-
of Adjustment does deal with ordinances, just like every single committee that we have. Every committee that we have is dealing with ordinances in some form or fashion, no matter how you slice it.
She sits quasi.
Wait, still speaking.
Oh, sorry.
Stop it. So, with that being said, people have said there's a conflict of interest. Now, because you feel there's a conflict of interest, that's nice, but there's a legal conflict of interest for lots of things that we do in government and lots of things that we do in real life. But there's an actual legal conflict of interest that is defined, and that is if there's some actual significant gain based on transactions through the government for those individuals personally. So you've had situations in government where government moves have been made and somebody who got to make that decision about that government move financially gained from it. That's where conflicts of interest come in. Conflicts of interest aren't just thinking that because somebody's related, somebody knew somebody from back in the day because we used to go to school together and now we're making decisions about the same general government things, there's a conflict of interest. That would make it so then if you went to high school with Rick 50 years ago and he comes before your board to ask for a grant of a variance, then that would be a conflict of interest and that would be absurd. The idea is there's some financial gain or personal gain to you that would make it so that you have a conflict of interest directly. And that's where, again, people use those words without understanding the actual definition of that conflict of interest. Transparency is another fantastic word that people throw around that is almost out of a lack of capacity to understand what transparency is. So transparency is sitting here having this conversation right now. Transparency is putting out over and over again, this is how trash, recycling, all that good stuff works before we actually find you and giving you warnings. Transparency is showing you a budget online and allowing you to track our money as a government all day long. What happens is people don't want to put in the work to actually figure out what's going on in their own community. But they love making comments on Facebook. So, at the end of the day, as we have all told you several times, if you ever have a question like right now, you can ask it. But you also will get an answer. And then you can look up the response yourself because there is actual paperwork behind it. Does that answer your question about conflict of interest?
No, not at all. So it was beautifully put. So like I didn't say anything about illegal or legal. Conflict of interest is still an opinion that anybody can have here in this. I mean, in the faces.
So what you're telling me?
Oh wait, you can speak over me. I can't. Is that?
I'll let you finish. I apologize.
I mean, I don't know if that's how this works. You can step over me. I can't step over you, right? Like she was speaking over you. She spoke over you, and you're having her removed, but you're now speaking over me. Do we remove you now, or this is just a question. Like, if you can do it, can't we do it?
Did you have something further?
Yes. So quasi-judicial situations when you have like ordinance intact, and your trash can, and you're the mayor, and your trash can might be full, but your wife sits on the board that the ordinance goes through, and there could be a fine. And wouldn't that be quasi-judicial and conflict of interest?
It's a public meeting, right? I just want you to.
I'm sorry,
say
what?
it's a public meeting.
Your wife sits
Okay.
on the board
It's a public meeting.
that deals with
So
the
you're asking me
ordinance
to
and
leave a public
fines,
meeting, right?
which considers her sitting
And you understand
quasi-judicial
that you're gonna be
to you, to laws and how it works. So if your trash can's full, are we expected to see you get a ticket? If she sits on that ordinance, on that committee,
So this
wouldn't
is
that be
where-
considered quasi-judicial? Here you are
This is
going.
where
I'll be
the
posting your
conflict
video
of
next
interest,
I have of you.
Law that you're speaking of comes into play.
Thank you.
So if my
Why are you
wife is
staying in there?
sitting
I'm going to speak to the town manager.
on the board of
Okay.
adjustment,
Thank you.